Response video or whatever, counter argument to a modern mystic video where he went over quantitative easing again, so I'll go over it again. Yeah. Um, the disagreement isn't that disagreeable in the sense that we're talking about a savings account, a reserve account, whatever you want to call it, some kind of rainy day fund. And the fact that if you were allowed to put crap in your rainy day fund and call it money, um, it's still there. People would say, okay, you have a rainy day fund, but you have like dog and cat shit in your fund instead of money. And yeah, so obviously there's an advantage to not having to keep real money in it, to be able to use the money instead of have money in it, and so put crap in it instead. But let's not fool ourselves that's not going to work. Yeah, that's stupid. That's what somebody who's desperate does. Yeah, it's a desperate move. Alright, so I'm going to try to explain this again, and I'll use pictures again. So let's say this time, let's just do it like you're the person, you're the bank, you're the thing. And this is the requirements of the gameplay, okay, is that you can make money. Okay, so this is the money making machine. And then you have the requirement is that you have a place where you have to keep a reserve. Okay, so this is your reserve. We'll make that round. That's the reserve. And then you have a credit card. Okay, and we'll call that bonds, but we'll just call it credit card for now. And what else do you got? I guess that's about it, right? Yeah. Okay, so you have a savings account and you have a credit card. So it's ironic, but you have to have this savings account has to have, let's say, $2 trillion in it. It just has to. That's the rule. All right, and it has to have dollars in it. So we'll use the dollar sign for dollars, and we'll use the we need a crappy sign. We'll use frowny face, for money that's not money. That's really just a debt note. Okay, so you got a dollar sign for real cash, and you got a frowny face for a note of some kind, some other piece of crap, stock market crap, any other kind of any kind of piece of paper that says I'm worth this much cash, but it isn't cash. All right. So technically, in this reserve fund is cash. Now, over the history of time, you have produced a certain amount of money into the world, and let's say that number is now $7 trillion. It's not that much, right? In the economy of like hundreds of trillions, 7 trillion isn't that much. So 2 of it is in these reserve accounts that you have to hold. Okay, your rainy day fund, and the rest of it's out here in the world doing its thing. Okay, people use it to buy stuff, and most importantly, people have to pay taxes in it. Okay, so it has to come back eventually in the form of taxes, and it has to be cleaned and wiped and all this kind of stuff. So you can always maintain this number by just burning money. If you got too much that comes back in 1 year, you can just burn more of it and not produce any more of it to replace it. What the game is you're cleaning the money all the time, and there's a certain number that no one wants to talk about that is the target number of real money in the economy. Real cash that has not been burned in this replacing process. So that's one way the government can make money, print money, is that it just changes this number. It just willfully says, when money comes in to be burned, I'm going to put twice as much out in clean money. And you can do that. So anyway, but let's just say, so it's just $7 trillion that's out there. So that's one way the government could create instant, obviously this would be like really quick inflation. If it says, let's just make this number 8 trillion now, because we need the money. I mean, we don't want to have to pay, we don't have to issue credit card debt or use up reserve money. We want to just pay for services, like we got to pay some old man's medical expenses. We don't want to borrow the money. We don't want to tax to get more money in. So let's just throw the money out there, print it. And they'll sometimes do that. Obama's done that a few times now. So anyway, so that's obviously increases the money supply, but it does it the worst possible way. But these other ways are just as bad, but they're sneaky. All right, so this number, 2 trillion, maybe the Federal Reserve has even more than that in reserve accounts. I don't know what it has, but it's obviously bought already more than $2 trillion worth of crap and put it in these reserve accounts. So what quantitative easing means is the bank is basically the Federal Reserve is basically saying you can have, like, even these other banks that are doing the same thing. I mean, they have their savings account, their reserves, and then they have their book sheet, you know, their loans out and money coming in kind of, you know, credit card deal. And so they can be running a profit even here, but the real deal is what they have in these reserve accounts in case everything goes bad, this stuff the rainy day fund. And have they replace the rainy day fund with, you know, Cheetos or some other crap junk food. And that's really what the Federal Reserve is basically doing when it's quantitative easing stuff. It's basically just saying, take real cash, okay, this real stuff that's in this Federal Reserve account, take this real stuff and buy some junk with it, okay, put the junk in here, okay, so now there's a bunch of frowny face crap in here, and we'll put real stuff into the economy. So it's the same as putting cash into the economy in the sense that it's taking real cash, put it into made it available in the economy, because now somebody holds a bunch of cash instead of bonds, and they're saying, ooh, cash gets less valuable over time. So in spite of this argument that this is deflationary, right? Like, isn't that a joke? If it was deflationary, then people wouldn't spend this cash. They would just hold it, right? They'd say, ooh, cash goes up in value. I'm going to hold it. No, they get rid of it because they know the stock market is at 1,400. And they're saying, shit, it was at 10,000 just 5 years ago, and so I've made a huge increase if I would have bought stock with this cash money. This cash money compared to stocks is worth shit. You don't want to hold this crap compared to stocks. Gold is at whatever, 2,000, I don't know, whatever it is, big number. Compared to this cash thing, gold, it goes way up. Gold is great compared to this cash crap. Sucks. Who wants to hold this cash shit? So yeah. This cash will get spent to buy some of this gold or some of these commodities, like wheat keeps going up and corn keeps going up and oil keeps going. Oil's over $100 a barrel still. Yeah, I'm buying me some of that there crap. As that crap goes up in price, why this cash shit, this don't go up in price. This cash isn't worth more the next year. There's no deflation. What a pile of crap. There's inflation, and every year this cash crap gets less valuable. So who the hell wants to hold this cash crap? That's the whole reason why I had to buy these bonds, right? That's why they're making this exchange for dollars for bonds, because the bonds are paying only 2% interest. And even at 2% interest, people are saying, what, you're going to give me a fake piece of cash, right? One of these pieces of paper with a little frowny face on it. But this, that says a dollar value on it. And even though this pays 2% a year, people are saying, hey, screw you, I'd rather have the real deal, because with the real deal I can go buy a better asset. I don't have to buy this crap asset. This 2% ain't good enough, and obviously the cash isn't good enough. They don't want to hold that. They want to hold something that goes up real money in value. So they don't even want this fake paper with its bonus of growing 2% a year. And that's why the government's buying this shit, is because no one else will buy it. And so anyway, so what quantitative easing basically means is you replace the good money in the reserve accounts. So like at the bank, they have, the bank has a reserve account in case everything goes bad and they have to pay out a bunch of people. Like if there's a run on the bank, they have to have assets to cover that run. Well, they've basically said, in your run fund, go ahead, put dog do in there. So if there is a run on the bank, you can give them dog do instead of real money, because that's all that's going to be in your reserve account. But technically all the Federal Reserve is saying is, no, we'll back your dog do. So go ahead and buy dog do, okay? We'll call it money for you. So in case somebody comes for the dog do, we'll give you real money for the dog do, okay? So we'll guarantee your dog do. And so the only racket here is guess what? All these people in these markets, they really lost their shirts in the stock market. They lost they lost their shirts. And what they basically have done is that I've got a bunch of dog do in my hand. And the rich people have basically said, here, government, buy my dog do. And the government has fallen for it and said, okay, we'll keep you rich. Because as soon as the stock market goes down, the government gets all frowny face. Says, oh, the stock market went down. Mr. Richie Pants is not as rich anymore. We have to keep the rich getting richer. We can't let the rich get poorer. And so they automatically say, go buy some rich man dog do. Alright, and that's all this quantitative easing bullshit is, yeah, we'll buy your dog do. Okay, you go ahead and lose money at Las Vegas, come to us with some sob story, we'll buy the losses, give you cash, and let you go out into the world and keep prices inflating. And don't pretend that this isn't inflation. When the stock market goes up, these are claims on your pie. Okay? It's not a claim on some other person's pie. This is a claim on your house. This is a claim on your life. All of these things are claims. When these prices go up, the claims on your stuff goes up. Alright? And it just means that the money in your pocket goes down. Alright? People are going to outbid you on your life because they're going to have the money by this stupid frowny face fake money. But they're going to have a lot of this frowny face crap. So I didn't even really get into the credit card thing, but you can get the idea, right? This is another way of creating or stimulating the economy is to just go to the just buy it on a credit card, right? You want to pretend you're rich or you don't want to pay your bill like in real money, just put it on the credit card, right? It's like paying your bill but not paying your bill, right? Isn't that what it is? It's like I'm just going to pretend to pay my bill. Isn't that what using a credit card is? I'm going to pretend to pay my bills. And it's at some point, though, something real is going to have to replace this fake crap that's in there, right? I mean, it's inevitable. But yes, certainly the economy is going to look like, this will look like cash when you throw it out there. This credit card debt crap, this bond money. Because what the bond money does is it goes around the economy. You know, this cash, it's, you know, cash gone through the bond market, comes out into the world, ends up going into the reserve accounts. Okay, so it gets converted through this process. The cash gets converted into dog do. Yeah, so that's just, but that's what's happening. To say it's deflationary, it's obviously not deflationary because cash is not getting more valuable. And you know, it's obviously inflationary. You just got to wait for the inflation. It's inflationary. The stock market goes up. The same amount of crap is in the stock market, but its price just it keeps going up. Okay? And so that means that there's bidding power there. There's a big pile of IOUs in there. Okay? Frowny face money. And it's going to start wanting to buy everything. So all the good stuff out here, there's going to be all these bidders from the stock market are going to show up with all their fake frowny face money, and they're going to outbid you for everything. So when you say $10, they're going to say, I got a whole bunch of this frowny face shit. I bid $12 in frowny face shit. And they're just going to keep outbidding you with their frowny face money. Yeah, so I think that explains it. So anyway, there's different ways to create debt. Obviously now our budget deficit is huge because, you know, Obama hasn't paid the bill. He's added like $1 trillion a year on average to the debt. So it's almost hitting $20 trillion worth of debt there. This was like $5 trillion when he took office, and he's boosted, or 4 point something, he's boosted it to almost 8. I think it's at 8 anyway, 7 or 8. So there's another 3 or 4 billion worth of fake money. I mean, it's not, that was real cash thrown into the rich man's pocket, thrown into the stock market. That's where all this goes. Every bit of this money, all the money that the government borrows, all the money the government prints, it goes directly into these commodity markets eventually. That's where it all goes. When you buy something as a consumer, you buy, you know, product shit. You buy some shit. Okay, you give them cash. It goes to the business. All right. All right. The business rich man gets rich. Mr. Richie Rich gets richer. Okay, and what does Mr. Richie Rich do? He buys these assets with his money. So it all always ends up in there. That's where all this money goes. It ends up in there, and then these asshole rich fucking cunts have now worked out a deal where they can take their crappy assets in there and sell them to the Uncle Sucker, and Uncle Sucker will buy that crap and give them real cash. And then the same thing just goes all over again. Then they buy a yacht, and that gives you a job building a yacht, which is a waste of labor. But anyway, you get some money, you take your money and you go buy your shit, and it goes right around the cycle again. But it's totally inflation. Anytime you create a note that says IOU on it, that's inflation. Yeah. Yep. So anyway, till next time. That's our video. Probably. Mostly.